we're going to see how to extract and quantify the business value from GenAI initiatives. I'm sure you have a question in mind. Is this image created using GenAI? Yes, of course. And then you will want to know the prompt. So here it is. This was created using Copilot. As an IT professional, you know how to deliver value. You look at different business processes, try to optimize them, automate them, enhance them, and deliver value. There are two types of processes where you can deliver value. One is documented, well-defined processes and undocumented ones. And the second, undocumented ones, is what I'm going to focus on. What do these mean? These are creating documents, attending meetings, sending mails, doing some approvals on chat, email, those kind of things. Now, these things are required for business. They take significant amount of time, but there is no process defined. So that's what I'm going to focus on. The structure part, you are already aware, so I'm not going to go into it. When GenAI came, there's a paradigm shift in the way we use it. As a user, what do? I look at all these buttons and then I know which button to click and what will it do. So I click bold, it makes the font bold. I click pivot table, it creates a pivot table. Whether I click it one time or 200 times, it's going to do the same thing again and again. So the idea is the way we use software is predictable and repeatable. But that thought process, which we have learned over decades, goes for a toss when we see GenAI. So this is Copilot, but all GenAIs basically are similar in the sense they give you one feature. That's one text box there. It says, ask me to do something, I will do it. Now, what does that mean? Earlier, we had thousands of features and thousands of outcomes. But now, technically speaking, we have just one text box or one feature, but outcomes can be unlimited. Now, it's difficult to grapple with that thought process. Although it's empowering, it's inundating as well. What are we saying? The cognitive load means thousands of buttons, which one to click on. I get confused. That's cognitive load. Now what is happening? There's no cognitive load. There isn't an explosion of features. In fact, there's one feature, but I don't know what to do. Now what I can ask is something I have to imagine. Now if I don't imagine something, but that thing is capable of it, that's a lost opportunity. So that's the problem with GenAI. Imagination of what it can do in my context is the key skill. So what is a value discovery process? Let's look at that. First is discover the capability. Someone has to do it. Unless you know the capability, what will you do with it? Once you know the capability, then the next step is think, is it applicable to some of my business context? If yes, you try applying it. And when you try to apply it, you check the repeatability. Is it working again and again? Because in GenAI, the same prompt may give you different results every time. That also complicates matters. That also complicates matters. Why? Because we have never seen this kind of unpredictability before. Now, not only do we have to understand it, we have to live with it and exploit it to our advantage. Once it is validated, then you go and document it. Document the whole process, saying this is the use case, this is how you use GenAI, and these are the intended results. And then you quantify the benefits. We'll see how to do that in detail a little later. Once all this is done, we standardize so that anyone who has similar use case should be able to follow it fairly easily. All this is happening in a center of excellence or a few set of people who are doing this proactively. But the potential beneficiaries of this are spread across the organization. Now someone has to go and educate them, saying, earlier we were doing it like this, now there is a better way, here is the better way. That's the education we are talking about, not just a generic training on how to use GenAI. And then we still need to monitor as to is it happening correctly and not. And then finally repeat the process. The question arises, is all this sounds great in theory, sounds feasible as well, but who is going to do it? Whose job is it? So wait, we will address this a little later, because this question is going to crop up multiple times as we go along. Now we saw that we have to discover capabilities. How do you discover them? There are multiple ways of doing that. GenAI is non-deterministic. Means what? The same prompt, same action you do will yield different results. And that leads to ambiguity, confusion, as well as opportunity. So now if you have given a prompt, got an answer, you're not sure if I repeat the prompt or alter it a little, will I get a significantly better answer? Now that is the maturity we'll reach after iterating, after learning, after having gained some experience on it. So these are the 4 ways currently at least to learn. One is proactive trial and error. Iterative process requires time and patience. I don't think there is any shorter alternative to it. But it's a good idea because completely paradigm shifting new technology. So it makes sense to spend some time so that we gain some expertise. The second one is a prompt library, which Microsoft has created, and every GenAI vendor will have their own library. And it keeps getting enhanced because there are many prompts being used worldwide. That telemetry is used to expand that list of items. So if you go to prompt library of Microsoft, it's called Copilot Labs. You will see a long list. It's categorized based on products, based on type of activity, and based on functional categories. So if you are working on any GenAI, I strongly suggest go to that library, at least look at all the prompts. Look, read, internalize in your mind. I'm not saying go and click on each prompt and try each prompt. That's going to be very time consuming because even as of today, there are some 300 plus prompts. Absolutely, you should not try them, but 100% look at them. That way, you will know what is the capability. So I told you, imagination problem now solved. You don't have to imagine, it's there. The only thing you have to do now is it applicable to me? If yes, what will you do? I found a prompt which sounds very promising. The natural thought is to immediately try it out, and that's wrong. Wrong means suboptimal. Why? Because if you find something useful, you will try it, iterate. Now, what were we doing earlier? We were going through all the prompts. Now you found some prompt halfway and then got distracted. You're never going to come back. So that's why if you find something interesting, just bookmark it. Move on. Read the whole thing. Then go to bookmarks and explore them in detail. As an example, many of us think of email summary as a no-brainer kind of obvious use case for GenAI. That's good. I'm sure everyone who has a Copilot or Gemini license is doing it. But the question is that the end of it? Absolutely not. We have to continue evolving to imagine. Because on the other side, the GenAI has no constraints, so why should we constrain our mind? So here is a more evolved prompt. It's not an alternative to summary, but this shows what is possible. So what am I asking it? Analyze my meetings in the month and categorize the topics. I'm not asking to give me a summary in the traditional sense. I'm not asking action items. I'm saying I want to understand my workload and categorize it broadly. And it does it, saying this is my own data. So productivity, which is what I do for a living. Internal team meetings, which I don't because I have 3 people in my company, but it thought I'm doing meetings. Why? Because whenever I'm doing sessions, one of the topics I cover is how to do more effective meetings. I'm already in a meeting in Teams, and now I'm trying to teach how to do better Teams meetings. How do I do that? I have to create a demo meeting, run it in parallel. So for every session I do, whether it is in person or online, I have another meeting going on to illustrate the capabilities of meetings. That's why technically it sounds as though I'm doing lots of meetings, I mean, literally double the number of sessions. So that's why it's saying internal meetings. Community and external engagement. This is an example. So it does that. And then at the end, it actually quantified it for me. And yes, if you count, the total is 100. Isn't that brilliant? You wouldn't have expected this to work, but it does. And that's not all. You'll be surprised to know what it did further. This result continues after this. I didn't ask it, but it is now telling me ways to optimize. So it understood the context. It actually got the data. Now it is continuing to think on my behalf. And it's assuming, why am I doing this? Not just because I want to look at some random statistics or impress someone with it. I want to improve something. So implicit improvement is expected. So it is going one step further and it's giving me ideas to optimize my work. This is what I call discovery. Now here we went from capability, and when we found something, we expanded on it, imagined more. The other angle to it is use case discovery. And that's a problem with any new technology which comes, because work was getting done. It is getting done for decades, thousands of years actually. Business is happening. Nobody's waiting for some earth-shaking new technology to come, and I'll say I will do that work only when GenAI comes. Let it come tomorrow or 5 years later. Let work stop. That's not going to happen. That never happened. So what does that mean? Just because a new technology has come, has my business context, the way of working, the way I conduct activities in every department, every user, have they suddenly undergone radical change? Absolutely not. Life is going on quite well actually. So now what do I have to do? Two things. Look for new use cases which were impossible to do, and they are now possible because of this new technology. That's one angle. Or you look at existing things which are already happening, but can I improve them? So let's see how that is to be done. Again, usually there is a library of use cases based on verticals, horizontals, and so on. So this is a scenario library available with Copilot. Each one of them breaks it down into multiple different common activities. For example, here it's saying how to do targeted campaigns, a marketing activity. Now the process is well defined broadly. Process has steps, so it's showing you steps. These steps are not new. They have been happening for targeting campaigns for years. But now we are relooking at each step and saying, oh, this is how I was doing it earlier. Can GenAI help me now? If yes, put it there. So see, first step, Copilot can help. Second step is just a meeting in Teams. But now Teams meeting can have recap of Copilot. Like that, we are fitting Copilot or GenAI in the right slot and then enhancing existing well-established processes. So the thought is, look at existing process and check. This process has multiple discrete actions, activities, a rhythm, step 1, step 2, step 3. All steps may not be amenable to GenAI based improvement. Identify those which are and then retrofit, or actually it's forward fit because GenAI is new. But we are retrofitting it into our existing processes. Another angle to it is, yes, I had 8 steps and 2 of those steps were amenable to improvement using GenAI. That's great. But do I just leave the remaining 6 steps assuming they are great? No. Remember, we are talking about unstructured work, undocumented processes, which still take significant amount of life, 50% every day. So now it is a rare instance by itself that we are looking at well-oiled, established, and essentially inefficient unstructured processes. So take that opportunity. And then, why only focus on GenAI? Apart from GenAI, those other actions would have been improved by some other kind of optimization technique. And the simplest one is use the right feature. We discovered how to use something by trial and error. We found one method which works. But does it mean that's the only method? No, nobody checked. I didn't even think. I thought I found a method. It's working? Yes. That means my job is done. Nobody is checking. Nobody is asking me to improve that. So I assume whatever is working is the only way and the best way. So now think, can I use a different feature or function? Can I automate it? Or can I use a completely different app? For example, Excel is completely misused when you are using it for tabular data entry. Lists is the app which should be used. All people who have Excel also usually have access to lists, but nobody told anybody, and that inefficiency continues. Any follow up related to meeting should happen in the meeting, but that doesn't happen. We use email for that. Even a child will tell you that is inefficient. In fact, I have a separate video on how to use lists for data entry and how to conduct meetings without emails. Have a look at those. Now, once we find this process optimization technique using GenAI and related enhancement methods, what do you do? How many people do you want to benefit from this? The answer is every person, user, department, whoever it is, who is involved in executing this process. The person or team which discovered this improvement may be sitting in some center of excellence, some L&D department, a combination of whatever. But only those people benefiting is not enough, because those people suddenly became efficient. Same activity happening in 100 other branches, and those are still inefficient. What's the point? You want to disseminate that. You want to standardize it. Now, depending on which industry you're from, standardization can be implemented in many different ways. So best practices, SOPs, guidelines, checklists, you take the pick. But this has to be done. You have to proactively standardize that process. Eventually, what will happen is we will create a use case library. So now every use case will have a best practice or an SOP. Now every user has to be told that never mind how proud you are about your method of working, saying next time you're doing any activity, please check the use case library first. The first column is use case, easy to search in simple business language. And if there is a use case listed in the use case library, stop doing whatever you're doing currently, even if you're doing it for decades. Read what is written there, check, is your method better or this method is better? If you realize that your method is inefficient, you just discovered an efficient method. If I did not know my method is inefficient, I continue to use it lifelong and happily waste my life. But if I know what I am doing is inefficient and there is an eminently better way of doing it, nobody in the world wants to consciously remain inefficient. That's called change management. So here is an example. There is OneDrive. Copilot wasn't there in OneDrive when it was introduced. It was added, I think, a month back. So I've selected a file. That's a job description file for graphic design. And now I'm going to select 4 more files which are resumes. And then you ask Copilot. It opens the prompt area and look at the prompt. I'm saying compare JD with resumes, find the best candidate and create a comparison table and also give a rating and see what happens. It did exactly what I asked for. It looked at those 4 people, gave them a rating and found the best candidate based on the rating objectively. So this is the last part of the output. It also created a table which we cannot see here. So I just copy pasted that table in Excel so that you can see it better. So this is what one line prompt did. This capability is an HR example. Now everyone in HR who has this need will definitely benefit from it. provided someone makes an SOP out of it and tells all recruiters that this is now available. Very good. Issue is this only applicable to HR? And that's another problem everyone is facing. Everyone is worried about customization and departmental use cases. Work is happening in that direction, but that's not the correct, full fledged way of converting technical capability into business benefit. Because this example was specific. Example has to be specific. But does it mean Copilot capability of comparing files like this designed for HR recruitment only? Absolutely not. Now you have to learn to generalize, and that is the biggest amplifier of business value from technology. When you learn something in a specific manner, benefit from it, no doubt, but now go one step up. What are we saying? There is one document which is sort of the specification or benchmark, and then there are other documents which are supposed to be following the specifications, and we are trying to find the fit. Correct? Now, if you take that as the capability, then it's no longer an HR example. Procurement can use it for RFP comparison with responses. I have a specification for approving someone as a vendor, and multiple vendors have applied. Again, I have a technical specification and I want to check my components against it. Or there is an industry standard, a compliance standard, and I want to match my process against it. So suddenly that capability has amplified its business value. And that is the real way of converting technology to business benefit. Now, what kind of business benefits we are talking about? There can be a long list. Multiple of these can apply in a given situation. It's not just listing out things. You want to quantify them. There are two types. Tangible, which can be put as a number, and intangible, which are equally important, probably more important. And we have to give a number to it. So I'll give you an example. Here is a Word document. I want to create a presentation from it. And in PowerPoint, there is a way to refer to this document and create a PPT. And done. In few seconds, it will give you this output. Now, the tangible part is time saving. Earlier, I would have taken 15-20 minutes just copy pasting. Obviously, that is important. Time saving, tangible. But look at the PowerPoint output and compare that to your output after copy paste. It will look very sad and not at all impactful. Whereas here, not only did it save time, it has created a well-designed presentation with correct, consistent fonts, consistent colors. It also found visuals automatically wherever required. So that part is intangible. But from a business point of view, the intangible, high impact presentation part is more important. So, of course, it needs to be converted to a number. The simplest method is look at the business impact potential and convert it to an equivalent notional number of time saving. So now we can add the two together and have a single tangible plus intangible number expressed as time units. One hand, we are saying this is the benefit, but now we also have cost. So we need to compare the cost of investment as well. There are many ways of doing that, but the idea is this cost is being incurred to improve efficiency of people. Who are the people? The staff. Are they getting salary? Yes, that's the staff cost. So if we save some time, we are recovering that staff cost or making them more productive. So let's look at that aspect. So what am I doing now? I'm just taking a base salary. You can change that. Just converted it to per hour salary, which comes to 300 something. Okay, that's one part. Then typically per month, GenAI currently costs $30, which is equivalent of 2,400 rupees. Then what? Now we are saying 2400 rupees. If we spend, then every day, if I save time, what will be the equivalent? That's easy. 7 hours of per month time saving will equate the cost incurred in Copilot or GenAI investment. Fair enough? So again, divide it. I've taken 20 working days. It comes to 20 minutes of time saving or equivalent. When I say time saving now, it's tangible plus intangible, remember. So 20 minutes per day, that should give you break even. Now, let's see other side, business benefits quantification. How does that work? So here is the matrix. Simple. It's just an Excel table. First column is the use case. Second column is the actual tangible time saved. Third column is the intangible portion converted to time saving. Then, for a demo purpose, I have taken just one user. In real life, LV number will be much larger. Every row may have different number of users depending on the use case. Frequency per month. So first row is say summarization of large complex documents. Applicable to everyone maybe, but are we doing that every day? No. So only 6 times a month. Fair enough. And then just do a simple multiplication. 8 into 6, 48. That's the monthly time saving. And because we are trying to find our break even on a per day basis of time saving, I just again divided by 20. So I got 2.4. Like that, with just 5 extremely common use cases, data analysis, communication recap, and word to PowerPoint, already on a monthly basis or rather daily basis, we have saved 24 minutes. So with 5 low-hanging fruits, no-brainer, obvious use cases with large domain of influence, we already had break even. And this is not even the beginning of the exploration. There are thousands of activities, thousands of use cases, and imagination is the upper limit for GenAI use. Here is the process which we just saw. It's a repetitive process, iterative process. Now, value quantification method, which I talked about right now, is based on per employee cost kind of thing. There are other methods available. Depending on your industry and requirement, you use the method relevant to you. What is BVT framework? Well, that's another framework which takes into account the impact, the positive impact generated, and breaks it down into various buckets. A given improvement can lead to impact across multiple pillars. ESG is environment, social, and governance. Okay, all this still is just a simplistic, commonsensical process. The question is, who will do this? I have asked this question before. Right now we are only talking Gen AI and as an example, Copilot. But wait, even if you say Copilot, there is a problem. Why? Because this is Office 365, by the way. Most people who have Copilot license in Office 365 will use it where? Email? Yes. Teams? Yes. Maybe Word and PowerPoint. Even if they are using it amazingly well, that's underutilizing Copilot. They don't know that. Why? Because most people don't know that Copilot is available as a dedicated chat, plus it's available in all these apps. And the number of apps is increasing as we speak. You are paying the same amount. It is available in so many different places, and you are using it only 3 out of them. Isn't that going to give you less results, less benefits, poor ROI? So, within the platform itself, exploration and effective utilization is important. Concern is, of course, about cost, and there should be. Cost is important to consider. But what most people have not realized is yes, you accept the cost, you justify the cost, you purchase, you negotiate. That's okay. Once you have incurred the cost has become an operational expense now. What you must realize, the cost is now constant. It's a subscription. But the features are not constant. They are increasing. Most people completely miss that. Microsoft has publicly documented roadmap, not just for Copilot, for all products. Copilot is a fairly new product, but even then, 223 updates have already happened. And the other part is, there's just one GenAI. There are multiple engines. When we started, there were two. Now there are five, maybe more. In fact, this is a screenshot from my GenAI browser profile. I have all of them open. And when I'm doing some research, I put the prompt in all of them. Same prompt. This is how I use GenAI to continue to learn from all available engines. Of course, I advocate efficiency. And someone will say, Doctor, you are putting one prompt and copy pasting it in 5 places. Is that efficient? No, absolutely not. And obviously, I'm not doing that. I have written a mini RPA in Power Automate Desktop where it accepts the prompt in a text box and then automatically puts it in 5. Another common problem I have seen is all Gen AIs will have a free version and paid version. And Copilot paid version integrates with your data. So those people who have Copilot license, they are benefiting from. But many people in your organization may not have Copilot license. And a common mistake I've seen IT people doing is they block all GenAI. Copilot, non-Copilot, doesn't matter. All GenAI is blocked because they are worried people are going to put some confidential data and then that will be leaked. That concern is genuine and correct. But what you need to understand is if you use even the free version of Copilot, but log in using Azure AD or Entra ID, Office 365 ID, that data is safe. It's called enterprise data protection. I'll give you the link in the description, but basically it means that data is safe. It is guaranteed not to be used for any training of LLM. It's completely anonymized. It can't be backtracked. The data is following your security compliance norms. That's why it's called enterprise data protection. So because this is the case, even people who don't have Copilot licenses, you should educate them about this and promote the use. Of course, they will use the integration with OneDrive, Team, SharePoint and all that. But they can still use GenAI. Maybe some copy paste is involved, but still better than not using GenAI because IT blocked it. So please enable this as soon as you go back if you haven't done it already. Now, when to use free version? When you don't have the paid version, obviously. But there is one more thing. Even if you have the paid version, if you have to do image analysis, you have to use the free version because that capability has not yet means as of mid October 2024, not available as a part of paid Copilot. I'm sure it will come soon. Here are some examples. I just put an image. Anyone who drives a car knows this. I said, what should I do? I didn't say, what is this? That's the prompt. It tells you exactly what it is and asking me, what is the problem with my car? I tell the problem and it suggests some solutions. Here is another one. Just taken a screenshot of a chart. It's just a picture. There is no data in it. So I gave that picture to the LLM, Copilot, and saying, you extrapolate the data from it. Very often we see charts in a magazine or a blog article, YouTube video. Obviously, you don't have the data. Can it extrapolate? Absolutely. It's interpreting it. It's also guessing what kind of data it should be. So, powerful image analysis capabilities are available, which are currently not available as a part of paid one, but I'm sure it will come soon. So now coming to the problem, this is a large feature set which is ever evolving. Back to the same question, who is going to proactively discover all these and then map to business? So essentially, I'm showing you the potential, but that potential remains a potential, just remains a calculation, just enough to satisfy some finance person to show ROI at purchase stage. But after that, who's going to convert it to actual value? Usually, the answer is depressing. The answer is nobody. IT will procure, deploy, maintain, perfect. L&D will do some training programs randomly. Most people will not attend them because these are optional. And even if people do attend, a subset of people will learn a subset of features. It's designed to fail. So, the correct answer is a combination of IT and users together have to do this proactively and on a long term basis. Now, which users? Well, who will identify the users? Users say, I don't have time. I'm not interested. Did you ask me before purchasing this? Don't trouble me. Whatever. So, who will identify these users? They will be nominated by leaders. Why? Because leaders know who are the people who are proactive, willing to learn, open and open minded, whatever. Those people will be officially allowed to explore technology and derive, suggest SOPs, business benefits. Those incremental benefits will be standardized and continuous improvement will happen. These users are called champions, ambassadors, center of excellence, whatever you want to call. These are some of the use cases which are quite obvious, quick wins as we call it, generally applicable across industries, across roles. Now, that dissemination of SOPs is still a pending thing to do. We'll create an SOP, the use case became potentially better, but still not actually better because people have to be told. Now, who will tell people? The best person to tell people is boss of that person. So each departmental head should send one SOP to everyone down the line, not just direct reports, everyone. Boss's mail is the first mail read. So use that to your advantage. Now, the last question, common question again. So this comes when I work with a customer, actual time saving has been delivered, and I'll show you some example. So here is an example of real data. Each row is an activity. After optimization, this much time was saved. Now look at this, 1 hour 15 minutes. Do you think that person was happy? No, because that person had no work and they're worried. People will see I am sitting idle and say, Arey, isko nikalo, remove this guy. Or if there is downturn, I'll be the first one to be kicked out. First, I'll tell you what not to do. Please do not remove people because they became more efficient. Penalizing efficiency is not good. Besides, it's not only on humanitarian grounds that you're not retrenching people. Those people are a part of your system. They understand your business. They have domain knowledge, expertise, experience. Correct? If you remove them, you are releasing that experience as well. Repurpose their energy, thoughts, brain, domain knowledge into value adding, growth oriented activities. Is that simple. Now, what activities those are, it's up to you. But I made a comprehensive list of what can be done with time saved. You take a pick. Of course, this is an indicative list. And if you are still stuck, just ask GenAI. I'm sure GenAI will have many more ideas to give. One word of warning, GenAI is the current hype and everyone wants to have that in their resume and tick mark. But this doesn't work in isolation. It has to be used in an integrated way with the platform products. For example, if you're using, say, Copilot in PowerPoint, great. But Copilot in PowerPoint doesn't obviate the need for you to know PowerPoint. If you don't know PowerPoint, Copilot is useless for you. It's an adjunct. It's not a replacement to people, nor is it a replacement to the products. So use it together. By the way, all this methodology of business value discovery, delivery is not specific to GenAI. It can be applied to any technology to business benefit conversion. Now, here is an example or a case study, quality department of Maruti Suzuki. This process, which I have talked about, is not just hypothetical. I actually implement it. In fact, whatever I do is not hypothetical, it's based on actual real experience. So 3 days of work, 100 people, First day was a generic session, show and tell, talking about all the capabilities. Now those people were divided into smaller batches. In each batch, each person demonstrates activities they do. There's the input, process, output. I look at it, then I take their laptop. Say, okay, I'll keep the input same. I'll match the output or make it better, but I'll change the process, optimize, improve using various techniques. And by doing that, we have before time, after time, and we calculated all that 25,000 hours of time saving. And by the way, here it's only tangible time saving. Intangible part, we are not yet calculated. All the optimization wasn't just done using AI. 20 to 30% was AI, and rest of it was utilizing the platform, individual products, features, functions more effective. So I hope I have given you a good idea and a different way of practically thinking about converting GenAI, or for that matter, any technology, to business value. So that's it for now. See you soon. Take care. Bye bye.